I inspire other people to live their essence. And that can be through this podcast, through one-on-one coachings, group coaching programs, through my children's books, through authentic leadership coaching, through my music. It all has the same mission. Welcome to this Stream of Consciousness episode on living a multi-passionate life. Do you really have to choose one path? This is the question and an experience that I have very, very often. So I'm super curious to explore this question and this topic with you in today's episode. So let's get started. Living a multi-passionate life. What does that actually mean? To me, it means that you have many different interests that you like to follow at the same time. And maybe you're having a similar experience as I have, because I sometimes feel that I would love to have 10 lives at the same time and dedicate each one of them just to one of my various passions that I can follow and create all these different projects that I have with the largest focus and spaciousness just around these different passions and topics that I want to choose. And at the same time, I've been growing up with an environment that also supported me developing various interests which include, for example, music, include volleyball, include personal development, include traveling, and so on and so forth. And just within this world of what I want to share with the world and bring into the world, there's another vast spectrum of things that I'm also going to share with you. And when going to school, there was a completely different story that was being told, at least in the school that I was. And I'm excited to hear about your experience, which kind of narratives were present there. So the narratives and the stories that I heard were mainly, there's one path. After school, you need to, in my case, you need to study, and then you need to do one course, and then afterwards you find a job within that area, and then you just develop your skills further and further, and you climb the ladder of success, moving from one position to the next, and then you have kids, and that's basically it. So that was the story that was present. And I found it always very confusing and also frustrating. And my mind always tried to find ways, how can I squeeze everything that I want to do into this structure? With realizing a couple of years later that it doesn't work. That this structure that was provided by society, the standard template, so to say, it just didn't work for me. And then I tried to find other ways how to live all these various passions. And now, currently, I'm trying to find ways how to share my gifts and make my contribution to a world which also includes a wide variety of interests, of abilities, and connects also probably with many, many different people. So something that I'm asking myself is, how can I be a coach for personal development that supports other people in living their essence? How can I be an author of children's books, as you see here in the background, that support children from the age of 4 or 5 in connecting with their feelings, with their needs, learning about nonviolent communication, about their nervous system, and learning to understand their bodily signals? How can I be at the same time a musician and share my music with the world? How can I support other leaders and change makers with authentic leadership, that they can have the impact they deserve? How can I go traveling and explore my own essence further and further? How can I learn and grow and learn this vast spectrum of approaches for personal development, which I'm just completely obsessed by. I could study every day different approaches of personal development because I have an obsession for them. It lights me up to be able to share with other people in the most tailored and customized way what might inspire them. I really love to be able to give the most important puzzle piece that I received from someone else to another person where I feel now is the moment for you to receive this puzzle piece. Not because it's the most important puzzle piece or because I'm so great, but because I imagine that that's exactly what could serve you right now on this path. So, and I'm doing this podcast here as well. And I'm also going on stages as a speaker, sharing my experience with many other people. So there are various things that I follow, various projects that I put out into the world, and I have so many more ideas of what I want to do. And what I try to find for myself for the last couple of years, and it's a constant, continuous process, is what I want to invite you onto. So I'm trying to find, for the last couple of years, defining more and more like a frame which feels that this is the umbrella of everything that I do. And what I do can have so many different shapes and forms, but the essence of what I do is this one thing. And what I've found for me is currently that what I do is I inspire other people to live their essence. And that can be through this podcast, through one-on-one coachings, group coaching programs, through my children's books, through authentic leadership coaching, through my music. It all has the same mission. When I meet someone on the street, it's the, yeah, the request I have for myself every time is I want to meet people and see them for who they are. Not because I know who they are, but because I try to have a mindset with openness and curiosity that allows me to see more than my eyes can see, or the first surface layer. This is what I say to myself. So I believe that that's at the core of everything that I do. And it makes things a little bit simpler for me because it helps me to understand what it is at its essence that I do with all these different passions and projects and activities that I follow. It serves me to live my essence, and then I share my experience with others to inspire other people to live their essence. And I'm sharing this now with you because I hope that you receive some inspiration on how you can see your life, how you can make sense of these different things that you do. Maybe there's some umbrella term. If that supports you, maybe you don't need that. It's totally fine. I'm also not saying that's the only way. But maybe it can support you in finding out like what is it at its core that you're doing in these various forms of expression. So as this topic is about, this episode about living a multi-passionate life, do you really have to choose one path? My answer is you don't have to choose one path in the sense that it's just one activity, one form or shape. What I do believe is that the path is living your essence. And it's just being yourself and returning to being more and more yourself. Because I believe before we had so many narratives, thoughts, beliefs attached to our mind, we experienced more freedom in being ourselves. So it's like a sense of coming home again to yourself. And I believe that that's the path. I believe that all of us just need to listen to what wants to happen through us. And then it can be expressed in so many different ways. letting life flow through us. That's the path. And I think that's one path. And then within that, it can have very various subpaths or tracks. So I hope that was inspiring for you. I hope that it sparks some courage inside of you to say yes to yourself, to say yes to all these passions that you have, to find the courage to make steps to living this version of yourself, and finding a way to say yes to living your essence, making space for your heart, your soul, your entire being. And I, if you need that, with this episode, give you the official permission. Yes, you are allowed to be yourself. I have this deep longing that you can be yourself and say yes to that. So I hope this episode was inspiring for you. I'm really curious to hear about your experiences, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you in the next episode of Essence.